Throughout history, the expansion and strategic placement of military bases have played a pivotal role in shaping the destiny of nations. The United States, with its vast territories and growing global influence, has established an extensive network of military installations. This script delves into the historical development of U.S. military bases, their significance, and the controversies surrounding them. As the United States expanded westward in the 19th century, the need for military outposts became evident. The Founding Fathers understood that this new civilization would collapse if unprotected. In the beginning, the U.S. established outposts like Jefferson Barracks in 1826 and naval yards in locations like Boston, Brooklyn, and Philadelphia. These installations were crucial for maintaining order and protecting the young nation. By the mid-19th century, the U.S. territory was so vast that it resembled a large confederation of small countries. This prompted the government to strategically lay out bases to ensure domestic stability in all developing regions. By 1862, internal base growth had reached an all-time high, with conflicts like the Plains Indian Wars and the Mexican Cession leading to the creation of key military strongholds such as Fort Sill in Oklahoma, Fort Sam Houston in Texas, and Fort Riley in Kansas. The Spanish-American War of 1898 marked a significant turning point for the United States, propelling it onto the path of becoming an overseas empire. The Treaty of Paris, which concluded the war, led to the acquisition of the Philippines, Guam, and Puerto Rico as American territories. This was a dramatic shift for a country that had previously focused its military efforts primarily on establishing order within its borders. Before this, Congress had been hesitant to invest in foreign settlements. However, the rising conflict with Spanish generals like Valeriano Weyler compelled the U.S. to build its first permanent series of bases in Cuba, Hawaii, Guam, and the Panama Canal Zone at the start of the 20th century. This facilitated more trade routes with Western allies, making the U.S. a very rich country and highlighting the need to sustain this newfound wealth. By World War I, the U.S. was laying the groundwork to become one of the world's most fortified nation-states domestically. Bases like Fort Benning in Georgia and Fort Bragg in North Carolina became two of the largest training centers in the country. The focus was inward, not outward, reflecting a USA determined to avoid intervention at any cost. Isolationism dominated American political thought up until the late 1930s, with a preference for economic involvement over military engagement. World War II shattered the isolationist stance. The Destroyers for Bases Agreement with England in 1940 marked the first real mass expansion of U.S. military bases. This agreement granted the U.S. 99-year leases to 8 British air and naval bases, establishing a long tradition of weapons trading and setting the tone for future conflicts. Naval superiority became paramount, leading to the construction of numerous bases across the globe. During the Cold War, the U.S. built an average of 112 foreign military installations per month, driven by the policy of deterrence against the Soviet Union. This led to a network of bases in strategic locations like Greenland, Libya, England, Spain, Morocco, Korea, and the Philippines. These bases were seen as a necessary constant, an insurance policy against the potential for nuclear conflict. As the Cold War ended in the 1990s, the necessity of maintaining such a vast network of bases was questioned. Many bases were abandoned or turned over to host countries, leading to a significant reduction in the total number of U.S. military installations. However, the number of countries hosting U.S. bases doubled from 40 to 80 over the last 3 decades, suggesting a more organized approach to base construction. Today, the U.S. has more than halved its military installation count, bringing it down from about 1,600 to 750 in 2022. Despite this reduction, abandoned bases have led to environmental and geopolitical issues. Examples include the Monsell forts in the Thames and Mersey, built to protect the UK in World War II, and the Ghost Ship Fleet in California's Sassoon Bay. Looking forward, the future of U.S. military bases will be influenced by public opinion, economic security, and government transparency. Defensive realism appears to be the current trend, with rising living costs and increasing reports of domestic health and safety concerns. This may lead to more base development within the states to address public unrest, reminiscent of the early 20th century. Economic factors will always play a crucial role. The de-dollarization movement and the changing dynamics of global trade routes will impact the strategic importance of overseas bases. Transparency in government decisions regarding military installations will also shape public perception and policy. The evolution of U.S. military bases reflects the changing priorities and strategies of a nation. From protecting a fledgling republic to asserting global dominance, these bases have been instrumental in shaping the course of history. As the world continues to evolve, the role and presence of U.S. military installations will remain a topic of debate and strategic importance.